Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the Effort?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I am very, very happy today to say that I have Shad Nojoumi. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
I have Shad Nojoumi with me. And Shad is very special. If you're in sub two, you obviously know who he is. But if you are not, or even if you are in sub two and not quite, Shad is very well known. He's on Nightly Dial every Wednesday, but he's known for even more than that. Hi, Lauren. Hey, Rory, Melissa, how are you guys? Well, thank you for coming. And it's interesting that he's got his name as Vintegrator. Can you start by telling us why you call yourself that?
Sure, absolutely. And thanks for having me on, Effie. This is a pleasure and a joy to be here with you.
Oh, I feel very lucky that you said yes.
Thank you. I basically got the name Vinegrator for two reasons. I guess it has like a two different meanings. As you know, in SU, it's encouraged to read Rocket Fuel and try to figure out if you're a visionary or an integrator, and pick kind of your path. So I took that test about a year and a half ago, maybe, I don't know, close to 2 years ago. And the craziest thing, I scored like exactly the same. It was like 87 as a visionary and 87 as an integrator.
Wow.
So I'm like, great, now what do I do? But it makes a lot of sense because I've done a lot of sales in my previous jobs and career. But I really also have a passion for integrations and how things work and trying to create systems and processes. And basically, when we started in real estate, we kind of went down this path of trying to build a conveyor belt that's really systemized and organized, and ended up taking the integrator route. And that's one of the meetings. And then I have several businesses that are all vertically integrated with one another. So the other meaning of it is, vertical integrations. I like the.
Oh, I love it.
Businesses.
I love it. So that is very interesting to see. I know you've got REI conveyor belt, which we have to talk about, but I know that you've also got a lot of other things. So I'm really excited to get into that. But before we do, I want to talk about where you came from. Because when we entered this crazy world of real estate or paceland or, whatever we want to call it, we come from different places. And before you got into real estate, where were you? What were you doing?
So funny enough, I lived here in Phoenix, Arizona for about 10 or 11 years. I moved here back in late 2007 because of a company called GoDaddy, which most everybody today knows GoDaddy, but I'm still in the habit of asking people, do you know what GoDaddy is? And now people are like, what do you mean, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?
But of course, we know who GoDaddy is.
Yeah. But back in like 2007, 8, 9, not everybody knew. It wasn't a household name yet. But I moved from Texas to Arizona for that opportunity. I came to Scottsdale. I didn't know much about technology, but I had some family and friends that were working there, and they were just thriving and learning so much and getting paid to do it. They literally dragged me here and said, you have to come do this. Like, this is right up your alley. And I was so hesitant. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not.
What were you doing with them?
With GoDaddy, I started off with sales and support, and then I went to the outbound department, did some billing, worked in the billing department, and then eventually I got hired onto a very exclusive department that was called executive accounts. And that's the department. There was only 20 people out of the entire company at that time. It was like 4,000 people in the company. And it was kind of like the Navy SEALs of GoDaddy. So like Oprah Winfrey's account or McDonald's or Mercedes-Benz USA or customers that were spending 6 figures, 7 figures a year. you couldn't just have somebody that just got on to the training floor and they've only been there 2 weeks taking a call from a representative from like Oprah's office or, somebody
Yeah.
influential. They could really damage the business and the brand. So all of those big accounts and reputable accounts, they would tag them and they would put a special symbol on it. And anytime we got a call from on the floor, we call it the sales floor, if it had that tag, you couldn't help them. You literally had to say, hey, let me get you over to the right department and to your assigned account manager. So I was lucky enough to work my way up to executive accounts, and I learned a tremendous amount about marketing and domains and the internet and a lot of technology stuff.
Cool. I think it's awesome that you rose to the top. And that is it's not an easy thing to do. And it's pretty cool that they trusted you with that much of their own business. So when did you decide that you had to look at real estate, and how did you move forward into this arena? And let's not forget the why.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the whole reason I did it was, so I was working at my family's car dealership in Dallas. I ended up leaving Phoenix and going back. I met my beautiful wife in Dallas, and I was working at the car dealership, the family luxury car dealership. And then when COVID came about, we all had a lot of time to reflect. And I remember during the time off that we had, I had started to look into real estate. And during those like 6 weeks, I really had a tremendous amount of time on my hands, and I started to really think, is this really what I want to do with my life? Do I want to do real estate on the side, but be basically like a used car salesman or be in the car industry? And I had a talk with Nancy, several long talks. And at that time, we were also looking into sub two and, doing all that. And basically just decided, you know what, let's take this leap of faith. Let's really start investing in this. And it's not going to be easy, but if we put our mind and our heart to it, we can accomplish anything.
When was that? When did you join Sub 2?
So we joined in late December of 2020. And then we really started to get started on it little by little in January, February. Right around that time is when COVID really started, becoming an issue. And during that time, that's when I think it was only a few weeks after everything kind of started to open back up that we went back to work, and we were like, yeah, this just isn't for us. Like, we need to go spend full time in real estate.
Now, when you and Nancy did this originally in December, January of 2021, were you in Texas or were you in Arizona?
No, we were in Dallas. So we moved back here to Arizona in last December 2022, mostly because of Pace and the community, Sub 2, Jamil, like just for whatever reason, Phoenix is kind of like the hub, the mecca of real estate in this country.
The Citadel, as I like to say.
It really is.
Okay. So then for that first year, tell us, what it involved while you were in Dallas and how you started to end up, how did you get to wholesaling? Did you start there or did you, start someplace else? Tell us your journey a little bit at that point.
We did start with wholesaling, and we still do wholesaling. It's not the only thing we do, but we are heavily focused on it. The original game plan was to sign up for Sub 2, start learning real estate. I saw this whole new creative angle that not that many people were using. Now it's very common, thanks to Pace and Sub 2 and the community and everything that's happening, all the momentum.
But I have to stop you on that. I'm not so sure it's really that common. Otherwise, agents wouldn't be as stupid as they are about it. I mean, I shouldn't call them agents being dumb. I mean, it throws off a lot of agents. They haven't heard about it. So even though it has grown enormously, I don't know how common it really is.
It's not mainstream yet, but I think for our industry of real estate investors, it's. I remember when we very first got into it, very few people were even pitching anything on creative, and that was a whole business model there. If you remember, like the Lonza method, and give me your dead leads and let me follow up with them, and there was an avenue there. Now, because pace has gotten so big and there's so much awareness of it, our little industry, which is tiny in the grand scheme of things, there's definitely a lot more awareness of it. But you're right, there's still a lot of work to go, a lot of room for growth with realtors at large and mortgage. I talked to mortgage guys that do wholesaling, and they didn't know creative, and they didn't know about sub two, and they didn't know. I'm like, you guys are literally doing it. Was, yeah. So there's definitely a lot of room for growth still. I agree.
So you started off with wholesaling, doing it in a creative way, and was Nancy part of it? You know, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to keep saying Nancy, 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 because Nancy's fantastic and
She
she's so
is.
gorgeous. Um, and I really love the way you guys work as a couple. You know,
Thank you.
so was she involved at the beginning, or was she just kind of sitting back and looking at you, thinking, "What's he doing?"
No, she's been supportive. She actually, credit to her, I was hesitant about should we sign up for sub two or not. I was like, I don't know. You know, Pace is like, he's putting all these videos out there. There's so much knowledge, there's so much information. Like, I feel like, you know, I'm learning it just by watching him and following him. And to her credit, she said, no, I think we should call and find out more about it. And there has to be something. There's something more to it. He wouldn't just give it away, you know, everything for free on YouTube. Otherwise, what's the point of signing up? So we're like, okay. And we made the call, and then we found out about the community and everything else. And luckily, we did join because of her, and it's been phenomenal. So
Awesome.
yeah, she's been my catalyst the whole time.
All right. How many people were in the group when you joined?
When we joined, it was just under like 1,000 people.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing to me to think that, because, you know, I've only been in like 16, 17 months and it was under 4, but I remember it hitting 4. And now, of course, it's, I don't know, are we at 100,000 yet? Because I feel like we are. I think we're near 12. So
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing to see how
Absolutely.
quickly it's multiplied. It's not really going like steadily. It's kind of going, wait.
Oh yeah, exponential growth. Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly. So what was your first experience like? Tell me. Hi, Julie. Tell me, did you have success right away? What did it look like?
We did not actually. Unfortunately, when we jumped in, the plan was because I was one of the top salespeople at GoDaddy, one of the top salespeople at the dealership. I had a lot of sales experience, and my plan was I'm going to learn. I'm going to take about 90 days, 3 months or so, 1 quarter, learn how to generate leads and build our conveyor belt and hire some VAs and get that kind of automated to some degree. And then I'll start hopping on the phones and really, I'll put all my focus there, and the machine will be here generating leads and doing that whole side of it. Because I had a lot of experience with call centers and all that side, marketing and whatnot from GoDaddy. So I thought, okay, I'm uniquely qualified to get the call center side of things going and then start closing deals.
And
After 90 days, we did not have anything buttoned up. I didn't know where to pull our data, what list to pull, where to skip trace. You know, why am I getting so many wrong numbers? The VAs we had hired and trained either quit or got fired or were unreliable. And I had more questions after 90 days about just the integrator stuff and the business at large than I had answers. And then that's when I started to realize that that plan A that's not going to happen. We better figure something else out.
so what did you do?
So at that time, it was there was a lot, we still see it in our industry, but there was a lot of people saying, "Hey, I'm a closer, I'm a visionary, I'm a closer. If you have leads, bring them to me, and I will close them, and we can JV and go 50-50 on them, or whatever the split that each person would ask." So what we were looking at was, okay, there's all these people that are closers, and they'll take the leads, but who can we turn to because we have questions as an integrator, and to get the business up and running, that portion of it, who do we turn to, right? We got Pace for sales and for sub 2 and all the education of that side, but and Cody is a phenomenal integrator, but he wasn't, it wasn't accessible like Pace was. And so we decided, okay, these are some big problems, and we had found some room for improvement within like skip tracing and with data pulling and just you name it, right? I'm very analytical. about those things. So we thought, what if we kind of flip the script, and what if we do this side of the business where we're the integrators for all the closers or whoever needs help with that side of it. So we reached out to a few people. They were like, I love it. Let's partner. And instead of me paying for marketing and you paying for marketing, why don't we combine forces and you just handle all of that, and I'll, you send the lead to me, I'll follow up, I'll get it contracted, and then we can dispo it. And that set us down the journey.
Wow. Wow. So that is how you actually ended up on the side of the business that you're in now.
Yes. Yeah. We kind of got forced into integrations and then stuck there. So
Stuck there. What do you mean stuck there?
Well, we started to embrace it and really love it. I started to see some discrepancies within our industry that nobody seemed to be addressing. Like, for example, skip tracing. When we pull a list, regardless of where you pull the list, I'd say somewhere around 30 to 40% of properties in America have two homeowners, right? Husband and wife, or a partnership, or whatever it is. But all of the companies we were skip tracing with only asked for one name, the first name, last name, and there was no slot to put owner two. And that was a red flag for us. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm leaving about 30 to 40% of my list just unattended. This is a problem. We need to solve for this problem. And then we noticed other issues, like nobody really addresses family members and different things like that. So then I just kind of got down the rabbit hole.
Why would family members be important? Explain that to us.
Sure, absolutely. So just the
Oops, you froze on me.
Aggregation as a whole.
Okay, Shad,
Sorry, I think that was...
But you just froze a second. So can you explain that a little bit? I don't think it's not my internet.
No, I think it's mine. It's this Wi-Fi here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, but I missed the answer.
So basically with data providers, what they do, and this is just basically a result of how data gets provided to us as consumers, as well as how the carriers are set up. The data providers don't do a great job in and of itself when they just give you skip tracing of trying to go and find, who's related to it, and the relationships that are there within. You have to dig deeper and do deep prospecting for that. And part of that is because if you think about Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they all incentivize us to get on group plans, family plans, right? Get 4 lines for $100, get 5 lines for $20 a line, stuff like that.
Yep.
Where I went to Verizon to get a phone line, and I just wanted to get one, and they were like, it's $80. But I said, you're advertising $25 a line, and they said, yeah, if you get 4 lines or more. So there's all these families out there that have multiple family members and people on a plan, and that starts the problem. Then the data providers, and it's just something that really wasn't being solved for.
How do you try to solve something like that? Because I guess, as far as the data providers are concerned, they want to know who it is that's paying the bill.
Right.
So how do you get that information? If you're looking for the owner of a home and only one name comes up, but there's actually 3 or 4 on that plan, how do you do that?
So there's a couple of ways. That's a great question. And that's really where we started our journey for the data side of things, was how can we get better information and have more relevant data and not call as many wrong numbers. And really what it boils down to is deep prospecting. You basically just have to go get as many credible and reliable data sources as possible. And that's been the mission that we've been on for going on 2 years now, is really finding those better and better data sources.
And have you found them?
We have made some breakthroughs, absolutely. Yeah, so we've kind of...
Is it like a trade secret, or can you give us an idea of where do you go to get better data?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. I think I know the answer.
Okay. I'm sorry, my net cut out. What was it?
I said, I think that if you want to know how to get better data, you go to REI conveyor belt.
Well, Partially, but I'll share, what I've learned. I'm an open book. I want to be a resource for as many people in the industry as possible. Data primarily comes from three sources. We have our public data, which is just data that's publicly accessible, and data providers buy and sell it and provide it. We have carriers, Verizon, uh, T-Mobile, and AT&T, and then you have creditors, Equifax, TransUnion, and those guys.
Oh, like credit cards.
Yeah, they have the best data, but it's also the most expensive.
That's interesting. So that's where our data ends up. Okay.
Yes.
So it's either public, meaning from the government, it's from a telephone, cell provider, or maybe also internet and cable, that sort of thing too.
So there's data brokers out
Yes
there.
or no?
So public data, I would categorize that as not just government, but also data brokers. So people that I'll give you a quick example. It's an example I use all the time. Have you ever been to the mall and they're giving away a car? They put the car there and they're like, fill out this form. And how are they giving away a $40,000 Mercedes for free to somebody? And all they want is just for you to fill out a little card. But they're going to take that card, and that's data, because they know there's a high probability you're going to put the right phone number, because that's how they're going to contact you about the car.
You want them to tell you if they picked you.
Right. So then they sell the data to data brokers, and then those data brokers go and sell it and resell it. And there's this whole industry there. Fun fact, data just became more valuable than oil. So it's the most valuable commodity on Earth.
Oh, that's interesting. Just one second. Julie says we have echo. Does anybody, sorry about that. Does anyone else have echo? Oh, now I'm hearing it just a bit.
Okay. I'm not getting an echo on this side, but I can hear it on. I can hear that.
Julie, are we? Oh, yeah, I'm hearing an echo too. Oh, yeah, we've got echo.
Just log off just in case.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, they all say yes. Okay. By the way, I see a whole lot more people over on YouTube. So, Maggie, if you want friends, go to YouTube. It seems like you're the only one at Facebook, or there are a few, but not many. Only when Shad talks, says Rory De Silva.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yes, because I believe. Oh, now they're analyzing it. Look at this. Yes, because I believe he has another device going on in the background. I'm delayed? Huh. Okay. Okay. I think we got it taken care of. Is it done? No, I still hear it. There's two devices on.
Okay. Maybe somebody else. Is there a way to mute all? There's no.
Well, no. They don't have access. The only people who have access is me. Where's my cat? My cat is in the background. And you guys and your background. So it's got to be, but we press on. Yeah, they just press on. Yeah. It's in your background.
Speakers. Yeah, I only have this one. Just on with you. Nancy's not on. She's just sitting here. Is it still echoing?
Okay. I don't know. Do we still have? Well, apparently it's not me. So why don't you talk and ask them? Do we have echo?
Okay. All right. So yeah, basically that's where data comes from, and then what we're on a mission to do is stack the data. So when we pull lists, we do something called list stacking. I learned that early on, and then we started to experiment with that. We started to do the same thing with the skip tracing and verification data.
Interesting. So then they've gotten better at getting our information. And I don't know what to say. Yes, Shad is still echoing. Well, guys, I can't go over there and do anything. Sorry. Maybe just speak more slowly. Any recommendations on tools for list stacking? Okay, so we have a question here. Any recommendations on
Sure. We
tools for
use
list stacking?
REI Sift is what we use. But you can also list stack with
Are
REI Sift. It's a company Tyler Austin created a few years
okay.
back. Yeah, and credit to him, it really opened my eyes
And
as to how to do more deep prospecting and find more data and dig deeper on data side of things. Sift, SIF.
is that the way?
Yeah, REI
Oh,
Sift.
they're sifting. They're not shifting.
Right.
I got it.
There you go.
All right. So there we go. All right. Well, that's an interesting one that they can get through some of that, because I think that if you're going to have a call center or you yourself are going to be calling people, you kind of do need to know if it's the right number and the right people, things like that, for sure.
Absolutely.
So now, could
There's a
you
lot of room for
kindly tell us
improvement
a little bit?
for our industry.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Um, I wanted to let everyone know it was on there before, but this is how you can reach um, Shad. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Uh, well, actually, you can. Here we go. I'm going to share screen, I think. Just bear with me, guys. Mhm. All right. So, this is what it looks like for Shad. And as you can see, you've got his YouTube, you got the REI conveyor belt, you and the Ford. Okay, so talk to us a little bit. I want to go to YouTube for 1 second just because this is fun, or not funny, but fun. So I'm going to show you something on his YouTube that I like, and then we're going to come back and I'd like you to describe some of this. You okay with that, Shad?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, here we go. All right, so listen up, guys. Hopefully there won't be any echo on this. Stream share. Yep.
I don't think they can hear it. I'm not sure if it's just me.
I love that. I just love that. I don't make money if I don't solve a problem. Where is your problem? I want to solve it. I think that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. I want to applaud you for that, because when you hear someone saying, I want to help you solve a problem, and yes, I'm going to get paid, but not unless I solve your problem. I want to
Right.
know what it is. I think that for me, I would be like, okay, now
Yeah.
you're talking my language because you're
Right.
worrying about me. So I love that. Obviously, those were a bunch of little clips put together. You're not going to just blast that to someone, but the information's there. So as you guys can see now, why I'm so excited that Chad is here. We are really, really lucky. So definitely check out his YouTube channel. It is still young, but pretty cool. So now talk to us about the REI conveyor belt. May I click on this? Or oh, actually, I think I
Yeah.
brought it
Sure.
up. Yeah. All right. So talk to us about this a bit.
So this is
What does
basically 3 years. 3 years ago when we started down this journey, and kind of how I was describing how we got there, as far as the all the problems that we ran into. We realized that there's a lot of investors, especially if you're just getting started, that you need help with certain aspects of getting your conveyor belt going or generating leads and being able to follow up properly and so on. And this is basically our vision of how to help solve for that problem. We want to take an economies of scale approach, for the same reason why McDonald's, is so powerful, is they have 4,000 locations, so they're able to run Super Bowl ads, and they're able to do things that other smaller competitors can't.
Okay, so Shad, I'm going to ask you to just speak a little slower because I see that we still have some
So,
feedback.
some feedback stuff. Okay. So yeah, that's basically our company. Our vision is to help empower and streamline the different components of real estate investing. Whether somebody's just getting started, or they just need one aspect of it, like they just need lead gen or help with this phone, or they need some sales training or whatever it might be, being able to help empower them with the tools and team members that they might need.
Okay, so then because of that, you're looking at all different aspects. You are able to offer it piecemeal or as a whole.
So our primary business model is we partner. So Nancy and I partner with marketing partners in different geographical locations. So let's say somebody's in Chicago, and instead of them kind of getting up and running and doing everything from scratch, we already have most of it in place. And instead of them going down the path that we already have gone down and trying to go figure out where to pull data, where to skip trace, how to hire and train and manage VAs, and how to get their CRM together, and get like all these moving pieces, track their KPIs and do the management, which, by the way, would take not just money, but a tremendous amount of time, which doesn't leave much time to do the real estate side of the business. We've put, our work and our effort into helping streamline and create that JV with marketing partners. Think of it as like franchisees, like locations.
Good.
They have that location.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Now I need us to go more like that. There we go. All right. So you JV, and if someone wants to get a hold of you for JVing, they are going to go to here to reach out. And which place is the best for them to actually reach out for JVing?
They can just go to jbwithshad.com, and that's the link tree that has all the links that you showed, and they can watch some videos, or if they want to schedule a Zoom. And a lot of times it doesn't work out for us to JV, and I'm just giving advice and saying, well, you could do this, or check this out, or try this. And sometimes it does make sense for them, and then we end up working together.
Right. So at the very top, when you go to this, you can schedule a Zoom call with Shad. So that's where you would go in order to be able to do that sort of thing. Yeah. Right. I know what you're saying about JVing, because JVing is important. I also JV, and as a result, I'm giving away a lot of time, because that's the only way you know if it works.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay, so. All right. Now, oops, I mistyped, but that's okay. So tell me just a tad about, where do you see this going in the future? Like, how many people do you have on your team now? Talk about your team. Sure. And sometimes, newbies come into sub 2 and they all want to do wholesaling, or they're told they should do wholesaling, and they're not sure where to go. Can you talk about your team, and
Sure.
Do you take sub 2 students on? What's going on with that?
Sure, absolutely. So we do have a team. We have a large team. It's right around 50 people in total because of the different departments, that we have. Yeah, it's that whole
You have,
economies of scale. Yeah.
did you say 50?
Yes. Yeah. 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. 50 people. Um, where are these people? What do they do?
So great question. So we have a data team. We have 4 people on our data team. They just manage the data side of things, the skip tracing, rotating lists. I've created some videos on my YouTube of like how we do it and all the thought and time that we put into generating leads. Really important things that I feel like not enough people talk about, and that's what I wanted my YouTube channel to be dedicated to, is kind of the things that should be talked about a little bit more, or that I wish I knew earlier. We have the data team. We have a lot of cold callers. We have a quality assurance team. They do the QA and that whole side of everything. And then on top
Are
of
the
that,
cold callers the QA?
no, they're 2 different departments.
Different.
Yeah. So the cold callers, they do the calls, and then QA is an independent. I learned this from GoDaddy. So when we were on the phones, we had a QA, quality assurance department, that they would make sure that we take care of the clients properly and we're doing the things the way that they taught us and told us to do. And that's kind of the role here, is they listen to the calls, they calibrate them, they leave their independent notes, and then from there, they send it up to the lead management to follow up for acquisition to do their part.
Oh, so the acquisition is after the quality assurance?
Yes. But
Interesting. This is big.
we also have a QA team there as well to make sure leads aren't slipping through the cracks, and because you need KPI tracking, so key performance indicators, really drive a business, but then also you need the quality assurance to make sure that the same things aren't falling through the cracks, and you're consistently trying to get better.
How did you figure this all out? Sorry. It's complicated to me.
It hasn't been
Was
easy.
it all just,
I learned a lot of it from
where's
GoDaddy.
it going?
GoDaddy taught me quite a bit about the call
Oh.
center, quality assurance, managing teams, and quite a bit of it I learned from them, and just watched what Bob Parsons built and how they scaled and what they did. And I was just taken back by it, and I really wanted to do something similar, but in my own light, some other way of.
Yeah, Donna Bell, I think that would be a great thing. If you could have your callers trained with Shad. He might want a little piece of your business, but or just cash. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
No,
But I do think
we do free training.
learning
We
from
will,
people.
we will actually train VAs
Yeah.
who can come to our nightly calls, bring their call recording, and we will break down the call, and they will get infinitely better within a matter of weeks. Like, we've seen night and day differences, from when we started our trainings.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, and that's free of charge.
That's really nice. That's what you call value add for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, very, very nice. I'm happy that you're helping out the industry in that way. That's for sure. And where do you want to be in another year from now? 3 years, 5 years? Talk about the future for you and Nancy, and the business itself.
Absolutely, I'd love to. We're very heavily focused right now in AI. Because AI is going to revolutionize not just our industry, but the world. We're already all starting to see it. We all know about ChatGPT. We're working on 2 different AI applications right now that we're very excited about. One is voice AI, to help basically do some of those. For now, it's going to be basically to fill in the gaps and to replace virtual assistants. But the technology is very promising, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm learning a lot more about that. We're looking to launch something here in the not too distant future, and really push the envelope forward from that perspective. And then the other opportunity is with copying and underwriting. That we're building some custom AI as well there that we're looking to really push the envelope forward for our entire industry to really speed up the process, but also to give us a 360 view of the deal as opposed to a two-dimensional view right now, which I feel is kind of where we're at right now in our industry.
So, do you think that AI will be able to underwrite? Will they be able to automatically do it?
Not fully, but what we're looking to do is take the research portion of it. And ironically, that's what we called our company as research, REI search. So it can examine the technology we're building right now is not just to look at sold comps and then also look at active listings and pending and that, but also look at rental rates in the area, look at short-term rental, mid-term rental, long-term rental, look at affordable housing, and really give a much better view.
Wow.
How could you exit that deal, right? And it's one thing if you were to do it, but then if you go to try to tell me about the deal, I'm like, okay, Effie, I trust you and I believe you, but let me see the research, like let me see the data. And you're like, well, I just spent 3 hours looking at it, trust me, right? Or you're like, okay, well, here's a link, and now you're creating work for me because now I have to go do the same research again and click the link and try to follow along. So what we want to do is streamline that entire process. We're making phenomenal strides with it where our system will do that. First of all, just to do that research would take a couple of hours to find the raw data, put it together, and then to try to organize it in a meaningful, structured way would take even more. And then to make a presentation to send to me would take even longer. So you're talking about hours of work. Our system will do it within a minute. And it'll be shareable.
Wow.
So you click the button, it'll be a report, and then send it to me. So now, as an investor, the tool is basically going to be used for acquisitions. Because acquisitions numbers, right? The first thing they want is that side of it. Then after acquisitions, it goes to the underwriting in that whole department. So there will be human involvement because we still need to look at the number, pencil it, and then human. As a business owner, you're still going to have to make a decision. Is this a good deal for me? Is it not? What number makes sense? Then from there, though, it'll go to Dispo. So when they're going to Dispo investor packet, and then investors will benefit because they're not just seeing a deal with an address and maybe they're seeing the actual research report that's been done. And then now their only job is to go verify. Is this true? And is my research jive with this research report that was done? And that's how we think it can really streamline the industry and allow transparency into deals.
You don't have to write the programming, right? You just tell AI to do it?
No, unfortunately, AI is not quite sophisticated yet. I think in a year, 2 years, at some point in the future, maybe you can do some of that. But we were building it from the ground up because the first thing that we have to build is the platform to be able to house the data. Then we have to put the data into it, so then AI can take that data and start to produce what it's doing. Then we're going to layer on another layer for machine learning algorithms. And that's where it'll help us actually not just look at historic data, but future projections. We're not doing that yet. We'll be doing that. Yeah, we'll be doing that. Sure.
How many years out do you think you are on that? Yeah, are we talking 1 year, 3 years?
Oh no! I mean, we've been working on it for about 4 months now. 4 months, I think. We'll have our beta to test with our marketing partners and internally here in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And for the future projections, because like right now what we're doing is we're going to be tying in a bunch of other data such as Census Bureau data, population growth, demographics, crime, school, like all this other data. And then some other ideas of other things we're just going to keep building on top of it. And once all of that comes together, I think 6 months to maximum 12 months from now, even if it's not us, let's say we fail at it and we don't somebody will build this within 12 months, under 12 months. We'll have
Wow.
changes in our
That's
industry.
amazing. That's amazing. That's going to be very, very helpful. I like what Donna Bell says. That's why I left it up. REI search. I
Thank
love
you.
the word play. It's just great.
Thank you.
REI search. I love it. If you haven't trademarked it, you should.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's, it's, it's pretty cool.
Thank you. We have a lot
Yeah,
of high hopes
I
for
would
that.
grab that. I would grab that. Yeah. Yeah, it is exciting. It's very exciting. So to think that you could just, you know, have time saved by using reliable data to be able to come up with, uh, you know, comps and is this a deal? Would be wonderful. And to be able to think about the dispo side, like what are the exit strategies,
Right.
is really, really wonderful. I think that's great. It's almost, that is interesting. Yeah.
And the investors
Yeah.
too, right? Like
Um,
you want to
so-
go ask somebody for $50,000 or whatever your ask is, and they're like, okay, but how do I know it's a deal? Like, show me. And then now here's all this information. But here's what I'm even more excited about it, and what will make it truly AI is when right now as an industry, let's say you bring a property to me or I have a lead and we're looking at it together, and it's like, okay, here's my subject property, here's the one we're looking at buying, and here's my comp, my comparable is this, and we're basically looking at it like through binocular, like we're just laser focused on this one, and that's the only two things we see. But with the AI we're building, it's not just the two properties that we're looking at, it's all of the other properties in the subdivision, in that neighborhood, in that area. And all of that data comes pouring in. And then the machine learning algorithms will be taught to look for other opportunities within that. For example, let's say you and I are looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. What's the first thing we've been taught to do? We go look at all the other 3-bedroom, 2-bath to compare that property against, right? But what if
Yeah.
what if 63% of the properties in that subdivision were 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and they were 300 square feet bigger, right? And the homeowner is asking for $300,000 for their, and you and I come back and we're like, I can't do 300 because I have to buy it for 200 and I have to put money into it and then fix it up and then flip it. What if we could come in knowing that we needed to add another bedroom, it would be the highest and best use of this property because the other comps would support it. And if we just added that and it cost us $35,000 to do that, I come in now and say, okay, Mr. Seller, I'll give you $265 for the property. That's what I get, right? Knowing that I'm going to turn that $300,000 house into $370,000 house when we add that other addition to it. And now we've made the same spread. You can make that same spread, but not from the pocket of the seller. It's from simply because we looked at the deal differently, because the different data came in, the AI told us, hey, this might be an opportunity. Check this out, or check this out, or maybe Airbnb is the play here, or maybe Airbnb is the play on what it is. Because one of the things we're going to layer into it is going to be what I call landmarks. What if the property is only 4 miles away from a 65,000 seat stadium, and that stadium has 118 events throughout the year? You see what I mean? Like, there's all this data that's
Yes, I understand. In other words, taking a more holistic view with the data, so that you can see more than if you're only taking it the way we've been. Don't cross any major roads, and
right.
it's got to be within the 6 months and the same age, and that might be okay for right now. But if you did have a stadium that was just 1.5 miles down or whatever, and you knew that could change the numbers, then it would be good to know that, because especially if you're looking at something virtually, like, how do you know that?
Exactly.
Right? But AI would pick it up and they would say, oh, and not only that, but they're building a second one, in the next 5 years. That sort of thing would make a big difference as to whether you want to get into a property or not.
Absolutely.
I can see that. I think that would be very, very helpful for sure. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Very exciting stuff, Chad. Very exciting. I applaud you for being on that cutting edge and for taking all these little pieces that maybe kind of beat you at the beginning, because where was that 3 months and no, wholesale? Um, and I think it's awesome that Nancy didn't let you quit. And instead, you guys started digging deeper and started to find solutions, piece solution here, another one there, and then go into the integrator and go ahead and partner for some of the front end. But how useful is that for everyone as a whole? And I imagine that, in the future, if you can get that going, that would be awesome. Does Pace know you're working on this?
I am going to surprise him, or maybe he'll know about it after this. But I wanted to surprise him and show him this. I worked really diligently to try to get this done for the mastermind coming up this week, but I could basically show it to him. I just wouldn't wow anybody. But I really want to build it and prove it and make sure that it's something, and then take it to me. So we can move it. How far we can take that.
Yeah. Do you believe that this is going to be the last mastermind?
I'm not sure. I hope not. I hope not. They're amazing. So I hope not.
I know, but I think it is going to be the last.
I've heard
You
rumblings.
said it numerous times. We'll see.
Yeah, they're going to change up the format, do a little bit bigger, more like the community camp, which is awesome. I mean, that would be phenomenal too. So
that's exactly what I thought. Yep, I can see that happening. And it really, he's a genius at growing with the organization, with the number of people there are. And it kind of makes sense that you can't do like 60 mastermind students,
right.
Each one, it takes too much time, even though it's not cheap. But, could probably do much more if it was a larger situation. So I'm sure that when you're ready and you do show it to them, yeah, that's exactly how to do it. But will you come back, please? At that time, will you come back after you've shown it to Pace? Could I be like the second place you show it to?
Absolutely. I promise I'll come back, and I would love to unveil it and show it to you and to your audience.
That would be so freaking awesome. Okay, I think that would be really, really great as a way to, I would love to see it because we're talking, like I know that it's it's before the horizon. You can see it, but it's not exactly where it needs to go for beta yet.
Right.
And there's nothing like revealing something before you're ready. But
Yeah, exactly.
I do think that it would be very, very exciting to see it because it sounds wonderful. I bet you probably, do you have problems sleeping? Because if I were you, I'd have problems sleeping.
I do, actually. I do.
Thinking about what else can I do? And what can I tweak? And, how much faster can I get there? And, that is one problem I have when I'm super excited about something, is turning it off. It's like, it can be
I don't
tough.
know how to do that. I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah, it can be hard. And, I have an issue where when I do fall asleep, a lot of times I dream about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes that gives me solutions that I wasn't thinking about during the daytime.
Right.
So you can resolve problems in your dreams. But I have been doing that since I was a child. So I think that it's just one of those, it was a cultural thing. And speaking of culture, we have a little bit in common in that I come from Greece and you guys were you born here, Shad?
No. Nancy was
You
born
born
here.
in the States?
I was born in Iran. I'm Persian. We're both Persian, but yeah, she was born here. I was born there. I came here at an early age. She went there. We kind of flip flopped, and then fast forward to when we met in Dallas, and then we just knew and got married and all that. So
Cool. Because I do think that Greek food and Iranian food or Persian is not exactly the same, but they're from the same. They have a lot of similarity.
absolutely,
So
they're very similar.
yes, and like if you actually come from a country such as Greece or Persia, a lot of times you you bless America, like you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to get shot for doing this. Uh, in Greece, like they chastise you for doing things. I just think that it's nice to have that kind of experience too, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, I think that it helps us to appreciate everything so much more. All right. And any last thoughts or comments to our audience who might be thinking of going into wholesaling? What advice would you give them?
Great question. I would highly recommend that with the community being, if they're in sub two, the community is large enough to where they don't have to go figure everything out on their own. They can go out and post, Pace says it all the time, get to know at least 50 people in the community, build relationships with them. Uh, if they don't have your answer, somebody they know, in their 50 will know. So that's a huge shortcut. If you're not in sub two, there's the free group, and there's a lot of other groups in the industry. Join as many, but get to know as many people as you can, and that'll be a huge shortcut for you. We're doing something called the No Excuses program, where we've opened up our dialer and our team, everything. Where we already have the data, we have the skip tracing, we have everything in place. So if somebody's looking to get better at direct to seller, they don't have to worry about all the expenses and the knowledge that they need to get going. They can just get on the phones, learn how to have conversations with people, and then from there they can go to being a manager or closer or wherever they want their career to take them. Their real estate.
And you call it the no excuses. No excuses? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, just no excuse. Like we've removed all the barriers, like because people will say, "Oh, I don't have the data. I don't have a dialer. I don't know what to say. I don't." Here's the script. We'll role play it with you. We have the dialer. So as long as you have a computer and internet, I mean, that's all you need. So.
Okay, you heard it here. You don't need to go and buy a dialer. Please don't go and buy a dialer. Don't go get lists. No, just connect, and Shad will help you as long as you are willing to commit to no excuses and actually doing it. I think that is a very valuable thing that you just said. I mean, a lot of things have been very valuable, but for people who come in and just aren't sure what to do, and everybody's told, get your skip tracing, get your dialers, get your VAs. I say, get your butt over to Shad
Or somebody.
and join the no excuses.
Yeah.
Or someone else, but I love the no excuses.
There's a lot of people doing the business. Yeah. Just get help and get started, and then take those steps. Yeah.
And then go from there. Yep, exactly. It is about giving and helping for sure. All right. And I'd like to say thank you very much. Are there any last thoughts or questions from the audience? Because I'm about to sign off, but I'd like to give the opportunity to, yes. Oh, wait. Oh, she's agreeing. I thought for a second she has a question. All right. Thank you, Donnabelle. I'm not really as good as I will be in the future because I wasn't sure which question you were answering, but that's okay. It's all good. It's just no excuses. All right. Okay. So I think that is it for us. I am now going to try to shut this down in the way we go. Now, next week, guys, next Monday, I'm going to be at the mastermind, and we'll see, like what we do. But my hope is to, to do something from Phoenix. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on my cell. I mean, not my cell. I wouldn't do my cell. No. But I would do the laptop, or maybe I can get into someone's studio or something of that sort. But watch for us next week. It will be from location. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, guys. See you next time.